little while ago. My name's Ed Terranova. I'm a retired New York City firefighter. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've owned a video production business, partners in a restaurant, partners in a catering hall, been in direct sales network marketing for over 40 years. And back in July of this year, I was talking to a friend of mine online. We were on a Zoom together. We were reconnecting. And after I shared with him some of the projects I was engaged with, he said, Ed, could I take 5 minutes to share with you what we've been doing? I said, sure. He says, do you remember Micah? I said, of course I remember Micah. We go back 17 years. We had traveled together. We were in a business venture that I was with for 7.5 years. So I know Ray and Micah real well. They were from the West Coast out in LA. I was from the East Coast back in the New York, New Jersey area. And we had a mutual respect for each other. We liked each other. So I said, of course I do. He said, well, we started this crypto wealth society over 1.5 years ago where we meet every Saturday. And it's just to learn about cryptocurrency, help people get into the space. And he said, we looked at projects, we try some projects, we make some money, we lose some money, we hit some home runs. And he said last year, Micah hit a real big home run, became a millionaire and went to Cyprus, bought a condo and met with a man that is launching a company where they're putting stores like the Apple Store, only for crypto on the street. And he says a company called Miracle Cash&More. And the way they're bringing it to market is they're allowing people to participate. There's these master franchise agreements, and we sold out Spain in 31 days, and now we're selling the United Kingdom. And immediately, within those 5 minutes, the light bulb went off in my head because in network marketing, I've also dove into cryptocurrency. At one time, I was a consultant and acting as president of a company that had their own crypto coin. They had their own blockchain. They had their own rigs, mining rigs. And so I got a pretty good education. I spent thousands of dollars to get that education. And back in 2016, I jumped in and I had some good success. A lot of frustration trying to figure it all out, very difficult. But I had developed a coin collection. I was trying to follow mentors that were really sharp. There's one gentleman that I follow. His name is Tika Tuari, and I love Tika. I mean, Tika, for me, I wouldn't be in crypto if it wasn't for Tika. Because when I spoke to my friend Richard, who had launched this company that I went to work with, he said, Ed, I'm glad you called because, we fired our president and we have 3 people that we're thinking of, and you're at the top of the list. I said, really? Well, thank you. I said, what are you marketing? What are you doing? And he said, well, it's crypto and it's blockchain and I said, Richard, I have no clue. I mean, every time somebody brought Bitcoin to me, I looked at it, I just don't get it. It's to me, it doesn't make sense. So I passed on it in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. He said, well, I'm going to send you a podcast and a white paper. And so I read the white paper. I listened to watched the podcast, and that was where I learned from Tika Tuare, and the light bulb went off. And from that moment on, I knew this in some form or fashion is going to be the future, no doubt about it. So started playing around. Bought one coin for 4 cents. It's called Engine Coin. And it went up to, I held on to it for a little bit. It went up to $2.50. So my $1,200 that I put into it became $77,000. My 5-figure coin collection became a 6-figure coin collection. So I had a good experience. At the same time, I tried to share some of this with friends of mine, and it was just so difficult. Why? Because there was nobody to talk to. There was no expert to take you by the hand and walk you through it. And so when Ray shared with me what was going on, and specifically when he went into the numbers, which we're going to go into here, I said, hey, Ray, within 5 minutes, I said, Ray, I'll jump on a plane tomorrow and come to Cyprus. And 6 days later, I was in Cyprus, got to meet Yuri there, and I spent a week there. And I went there really not just to kick the tires, but to meet the people. I wanted to sit down, and I knew Micah and I knew Ray and I trusted them, and I got to meet Daniel and his wife, and then Hawken and his wife, and the people behind this. And I came out of there on cloud nine. I haven't come off of cloud nine one time. I'll be on cloud nine a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, until we finalize our exit strategy that we're here for, because this is the biggest thing I've ever seen by far. Nothing even comes close, and it's so unique and different. So let's kind of jump into it. Um, share with you my story. Welcome. The name of the company is Cashflow NFT that's bringing this to market. And what we're bringing to market is a company called Miracle Cash&More. But before we get into it, we want to kind of just cover a couple of things. Cashflow NFT is a company that acquires and tokenizes assets. Now, if that confuses you right there, I know it confused me too. But I've heard this word token. Matter of fact, I was operating with CEOs of companies, and they were talking about the movement of money and the tokens and how it gets tokenized. And actually, it was terminology that was foreign to me, so it took me a little while to grasp it. But before we get started, we do want to state this disclaimer. So before I read what the lawyers want us to read, I want to just share from my heart. Yeah, what you're going to see here potentially is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. But there are no guarantees. We're gonna show you the product. We're gonna talk about the products. We're gonna talk about how the money is made. We'll talk about the possibilities. We'll show some projections. But in reality, there's no promises here. There's no guarantee. There's no promises. So if you can repeat that, just say it out loud. There's no promises. There's no guarantee. We're not guaranteeing anything. What's being sold in this presentation is an NFT series called the Boogie Gopher Club. The NFT is also tied to a licensing agreement, which is the software. So it's the potential of the purchase of two things: the property of the NFT itself, and we'll talk about that, and the property, which is the software for commercial use that is used in the products we can show you. Both being property, product, and nothing else. The software is estimated worldwide to have a licensing value of over $400 million. You might think about that. How is that possible? Well, there's over 100 countries that we believe will be in over time. And when you just think about the value of software per each company, it could easily equate to that. The NFT will have the right to the license of the software in a region that we're going to discuss herein. And there's no promise of return or being offered. Merely, we are discussing how the software is being used in its commercial value. Each NFT is a part of the commercial value without any future revenue, the value in the software, and the cost of building the software. The NFT is sold based on the current value of the software and can be resold based on the current value of the software and not future potential. There's no promises of future return that are being offered here at this presentation. The cost of the work hours and the value contained in the software is what's being sold and not a promise of return. So hopefully everybody got that. That's all legalese, and it's important. So what are our products? We're web-based and we have an application. We're going to talk about stores. When Ray said to me, Ed, we're going to be the first company to open up stores in major cities all over the world, I remember when Apple went into the store business. And my first thought was, I had started with PCs, and my kids, went to school. And when my daughter got into getting Macs, there was a phrase that went around saying, once you go Mac, you'll never go back. And then I was working with a lot of real sharp people that were using Macs. And so I ended up buying a MacBook Pro. And I got my iPhone, I got my iPad, I got my iPod, I got all the i stuff. And it's way better than PCs. My wife was on a PC for about 4 years ago. She bought a PC. I'm saying, why are you buying a PC for buying a Mac? And now she finally got rid of her PC and just bought it back. So Mac stores, when I looked at the Apple stores, I'm thinking, why would you need a store? I mean, they're an incredible company as it is. They're selling product everywhere. I go into Best Buy, I can buy whatever I need. And then I went into the Apple store. And then I had a need to go into the Apple store. And what I found out was that it's kind of like going to the doctor's office. You got to make an appointment to see a genius, right? They call it the Genius Bar. and you get this expert help, expert assistance. Even during COVID, when the mall was open, there was a line out the door to go into the Apple store. Just amazing. So when Ray said we're going to build these stores on the street, crypto on the street, it's like the Apple store. Immediately the light bulb went off. I said, "Oh my goodness," because I had the experience of not talking to anybody, trying to figure it out, watching videos, spending hours upon hours, wishing there was somebody I could talk to that could show me how to do this. And now there's a company that's going to do that. I said, if that happens, and the numbers that Ray shared were just so mind blowing, I said, I have to be a part of this. This is the biggest thing I've ever seen potentially. And so that's why I flew there. And so we have what we call an automatic vending machine. It's like an ATM. Everybody's familiar with ATMs. We have these electronic terminals. Everybody's familiar with an electronic terminal. I don't know about you, but I don't carry cash. I don't need cash. I have my credit cards, my debit cards, and everywhere I go, that's what I use. MasterCard, Visa card, American Express, whatever it is. I use a limited amount of cards, but that's it. Everywhere I go, it's either you tap it, you swipe it, or you chip it. And just think about that progression right there. When it first started out, I remember back in the day, so I might be a little older than some people here, but back in the day, if you had an American Express card, there was a physical machine you had to move the card through, and it gave you a carbon copy of your receipt. Then the banks ended up getting debit cards, and credit cards came out with Visa cards, and all of a sudden you could just swipe it everywhere you go, swipe. And then they put in this thing called a chip. And I didn't understand the chip. It took me a long time to figure out how to use a chip. And then they come out with this thing called a tap. And I'm just getting used to tapping it now. But this is advancement in technology. This is what happens. I'm told one more story, then we're going to move on. In 1991, I flew to Hong Kong on a business trip. We were expanding into Hong Kong. And at the time, I was a New York City firefighter. I was a businessman. I drove a Mercedes, and I had one of these cell phones that was on the center console of my car. It was attached to the car. And if you had a mobile device, it was the size of a brick. That was cell phones in the United States back in 1991. I go out to these restaurants in Hong Kong, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing phones ring, not at the front desk for the restaurants, but on the tables all over the restaurant. I'm going, what is going on here? And they had these little phones that were flip phones. So right away, as soon as he came to the United States, I had to have a flip phone. And when I went to the firehouse, the guys would kid me. My name is Ed. They called me Mr. Executive. The executive is here, because I'm out in front with technology. And all of a sudden it became, hey, that's the way to go. And then Apple comes out with an iPhone, and it's a computer in your hand. And you can do all these crazy things in your hand. So we always grow into the technology that just makes sense. Crypto makes sense. And it's just at the tipping point right now. What's missing is the stores to bring it to market and the technology to bring it to market, to have those terminals that are just we use it with a QR code, but you could choose from up to 1,000 coins. If you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, whatever it is, all the top coins are there, and you could buy stuff with crypto. And the first store on the block that has one of these things is going to be the store that everybody's talking about. Hey, that store accepts crypto. The next store is going to go, I want to accept crypto. The next store is going to go, I want to accept crypto. Whether you go to the supermarket, you're buying a car, you're getting a tailor-made suit, it doesn't matter. Wherever you go, people that are into crypto are going to want to use crypto to buy those items, and it's going to take off like wildfire. So you're looking at something before it happens. The secret, if you want to call it a secret, is to get involved before the whole world knows about it, to position yourself in front of the masses before the masses react. So those are our products, and we have web-based products, Miracle Install, Miracle Home, Miracle Deal, Miracle Installments for Business. We'll touch on those. So what is a Miracle Installment? If you have a cell phone like I have, I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max, whatever it is, and I think it was $1,300 when I bought it, but I didn't pay $1,300. I put it on an installment plan. I pay for it a little bit every month, right? That's an installment. People are familiar with installments. If you buy a car and you end up financing the car. That's an installment payment. If you buy anything where you're going to pay it off over time, it's an installment. Well, we have a product called Miracle Installment. There's over 40 million United Kingdom. And what we're going to talk about here is all about the United Kingdom and what we're marketing in the United Kingdom for the United Kingdom. So everything we can talk about here is the UK. Now, I've been to the UK, and I know it's comprised of 4 different countries. You got England, you got Scotland, you got Northern Ireland, and you got Wales. Well, what we're talking about is something for that. So you got 40 million residents. If we only capture half of a percent of the business that's being done there, it would be 200,000 people with an average of about 2,000. Now, as we go through these numbers, guys, this is what we were talking about before. There's no promises of return here. These are just examples, mathematical examples, hypothetical examples of what we think we could achieve on a low end. We're not actually, we're saying, hey, if we only got a half a percent and the average value is $2,000, with a turnover of, we'd have a volume turnover of 400 million, and a 10% of the profit, that's 40 million. And what we do as people who have the memberships with the NFTs, we get to share in half. There's 1,488 memberships that are being brought to market. We've already sold about half of them. There's somewhere around 700 available right now, and they'll be sold out in no time. Just like Spain sold out. Don't blink. It could be gone in 30 days. It could be gone sooner. It could be gone a little longer. But I think within the next 30 to 60 days, these memberships will all be sold, and the UK will be spoken for. But at half of a percent with the 20 million, that comes out to 13,000. Now these memberships are $5,000 for the membership. That's it, one time. And this is where when Ray, I'll tell you exactly what Ray said to me before we go further. He said, Ed, based on our modest projections, the first year should bring marketing revenue of about 100,000 per membership. The second year, about 200,000. Third year, over 400,000. The fourth year, he said over 900,000. And we have an exit strategy to sell the company for $200 billion, over 10 times earnings. And if that's the case, your ownership, or your membership, I should say, would be worth over $10 million. And that's when I said, wait a second, put the brakes on. If that has any sense of reality in it, I got to examine this thing and find out. And that's why I said, I'll jump on a plane. I mean, it's too big. So that's at a half percent. What if we capture 1%? The example that we're referring to would pay you over 26,000. What if we captured 2%? The example that we're showing you would pay you over 53,000. So I've been in business. As I stated earlier, I owned a video production business, restaurant business, catering business, and I know accounts receivable and accounts payable, lease payments, note payments, Fed, FICA, insurance, payroll, everything that goes into a business. When you're talking about purchasing a membership that has an NFT attached that's linked to the business, it's tied to the business through the blockchain. The NFT itself has a computer code, it's tied to the blockchain, and it's in trust with the business, with the fraction that one of 1,488 individual memberships, that you get to earn the marketing revenue that comes from the products. Like we're talking about here, there's just one product, and that would pay you that amount. Here's another product, Miracle Home. Miracle Home is crazy. Miracle Home is traditionally when people rent. Now, these two products we're talking about, by the way, they didn't hit the market yet. So I just want you to know, a lot of people look at this stuff and they think, hey, will I get paid next week on what I buy today? And the fact is, these are developed, the technology's done, but we're selling the UK right now. It's not ready to open. It's going to take about 9 months from the time that we complete this sale to do our first transaction, and we pay out quarterly. So sometime in the first quarter of 2023 is where we'll start to receive quarterly marketing revenue from what we're talking about here. So you have a product here called Miracle Home, where traditionally, when people rent an apartment or a house or a flat, Usually there's a first month, last month, and security deposit required. Why? To protect the landlord. Well, with this product, the landlord gets 24 months of rental guarantee. They get 12 months of rental advance option, and they get 4 months of damage insurance, which eliminates the need to go first month, last month, and security deposit. So now the pool of prospective tenants that might qualify is broader, because one of the challenges for a lot of tenants is that they might be able to afford the monthly rent, but they don't have the money saved to get into the apartment. They don't have the three times multiple of what it takes to get in there. So for the landlord, it's a win-win-win, and for the tenant, it's a win, because now all those requirements are not there. And let's just jump down to the bottom. After all the numbers are said and done, we're looking at a potential profit here of 53 million, and this is year one, divided by 1,488 memberships, would provide you with a marketing revenue of 35,000. So let's just stop there for a second. Being somebody who's been in business, when I started my video production business, my wife and I was right out of college, 21 years of age. We got married at 21 years of age, and I bought equipment. And I had to finance some of the equipment, had to borrow 25,000 from the bank. And my wife says, Ed, how long is it going to take for you to make this money back? And my wife's the CFO. She runs the ship here. So I said, well, I don't know, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Within 6 months, we had that loan paid off. So I look at it and go, okay, $5,000 for a membership, paying back, this kind of money in marketing revenue. To me, this is a slam dunk. Just on this one product, just on the Miracle with installments. Look at the numbers we talked about before: 13,000, 26,000, 53,000. Just on any one product, this is a slam dunk opportunity. But when you start adding them together, they get crazy. So let's look at what most people are familiar with: website, buy, sell, and trade. In the UK in 2021, there was $170 billion of crypto bought and sold. That's what they call the transactional volume. Our products, our delivery channels, our software profits on the transaction. That's where the money is made. The money is made on the transaction. And so whether it's 1%, 2%, 3% of the transaction, depending on the product, a portion is made and we share in that revenue, in that marketing revenue. So Miracle Cash&More, let's just say we only capture 3%. Personally, I think we could become number one. I really do. I think we could. Binance is killing everybody. Binance is doing anywhere from 10 to $25 billion a day in transactions. A day. 170 billion is being done in a year. This one company is doing this kind of numbers, 10 to 25 billion in a day. And then you have the crypto.coms of the world, you have the FTX of the world, you have the Coinbase of the world. There's about 4, 5, 6, 7 different companies that are fluctuating in that 1 billion, 2 billion, $3 billion range on a daily basis. So when we think we could say, hey, we think we could be number one, we believe we definitely could be one of the top three with what you're taking a look at here. But at just a 3% capture of that market, that will bring in $5.1 billion. Year one revenue, $5.1 billion times a 2% transaction fee is $102 million. And again, these are just hypotheticals, guys. There's no guarantee here. I want to continuously say that. No guarantees here. So if we collected 102 million times the 50%, that's 51 million. The net profit year one being 51 million. The first year distribution per membership would be over $34,000. Well, year two, we're projecting to more than double that. And here's why. When I first saw this, and Ray said to me, hey, year one, Ed, 100 million, 100,000, year two, 200,000. Basically, it was doubling, which is 100% growth. And I knew the industry is growing. Why? Because less than 3% of the population around the world is actually utilizing cryptocurrency. They're not engaged with it yet. So I knew it was growing because it's visibly all around us. I watched the Super Bowl, and the first time ever there were cryptocurrency ads in the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, there were 6 of them. And some of the biggest stars were in those commercials: Tom Brady and LeBron James and Larry David and Matt Damon. They were in these commercials for cryptocurrency exchanges in the Super Bowl, the most expensive television time there is. So I like to say success leaves clues. Recently, Warren Buffett put $1 billion into a Brazilian bank that has 53 million customers, and they're adding crypto to the bank. So success leaves clues. So the whole industry at large, when I first started seeing these presentations, I was here was growing at anywhere from 200 to 300% a year. And I said, wow, that's incredible. Then I heard somebody say 400%. I said, wow, that's incredible. Then I see an article in CNBC, and that article stated that in 2021, the amount of cryptocurrency transactions grew by 567%. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're in the right place at the right time. This thing's ready to pop. This thing's ready to go vertical. This thing's ready for people to start jumping in to crypto. And so when we put these projections together, we're not talking about 500% or 400%, 300% or 200%. We're saying, what if we grow by 100% a year? What would that look like? Well, 100% a year would be doubling every year. That's how we get these numbers. Year one profit, we're projecting, estimating, hypothetically, 34,000. Then it jumps to 68. Then year three, 137. Then year four, 274. I think you're getting the picture now. The miracle ATM. Everybody knows about ATMs. Our goal is to put out 1,000 within our first 3 months. If the average transaction is $500 and there's an average of 5 transactions per ATM, our transaction fee in the ATM is going to be 6%. Now you might think that that's high, but that's not high. The Bitcoin machines that are out there today around the world go anywhere from 10 to 16% transaction fees. We're coming in at a 6% transaction fee. So with 2.5 million times 6%, that's 150,000 a day, coming out to annually with 54 million annualized. Reduce the cost by 40% operations. The machines have to be bought. They have to be installed. They have to be maintained. They have to be filled. So there are costs involved there. And 50% of the remaining, which is 16 million, would pay out year one a $10,000 amount. Well, what happens when we double it to 2,000 machines? That's 21,000. What happens when we double it to 4,000 machines? That's 43,000. And that's our goal for our first 18 months. So as you can see, this is going to be a cash cow that just continues to grow in size. I believe electronic terminals. To me, this is the big one. Point of sale, electronic terminals. Let's just jump right to the bottom line. We're going to go from 10,000 units. I think that this product is going to go hog wild. I think we're going to see 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 200,000. I think we're going to see hundreds. I think we're going to see millions over time of these units in the marketplace. Why? Because the marketplace wants them. And we're the only game in town right now. There's really nobody else out there doing what we're doing. We're first to market with all these verticals, with all these different products, with the stores, with everything that we're doing. We own our own exchange. We own our own stablecoin. We own our own ATMs. We own our own merchant terminals. We own the technology that's inside of these machines. Game over. We will dominate the market. So what are we purchasing? For $5,000, we're getting a membership NFT, and we're getting the potential to earn between the buy, sell, the miracle installments, all this added up year one. When you look at year one being a total of 158,000, if we added all those numbers together on the projections that we just gave, and then doubled it every year, like I indicated before, with the sale of the company, we believe we're going to sell for no less than $200 billion. Basically, companies sell for 10 times earnings. Some of these types of technology companies that are fintech companies, they might sell for 15, 20, 30 times earnings. If we just sell for 10 times earnings, in this scenario, your last year of earning of marketing revenue being 1.2 million would bring an exit value of about $12 million US. Again, no guarantees, guys. We're not promising you anything. We're not telling you you're going to earn this. So I hear some people say, what is the date I'm going to get that money? No, look, this is just a projection. we'll share with you everything else about how we're going. So we also have a bonus pool. We have a promotion going on right now, and then this is probably the last slide I'm going to hit. We have a promotion going on right now that if you're not signed up yet as the free affiliate, do yourself a favor, do it today. Today's the last day of the month, and here's why. We have a promotion called the September to Remember promotion. And the September to Remember promotion, you have to be in by September 30th, registered by September 30th. And if you sell 10 of these memberships within a 30-day span, you're going to get one membership for free. Something that sells for $5,000, something that if you sell 10 of them, you'll earn $5,000, and will also bring you back all the returns, potential returns that we just talked about. So if you do that, you'll also qualify as what we call a one-star miracle. When you sell 10 NFTs over any period of time, we have a global bonus pool that people will share and that pays out monthly. And this is just a hypothetical example again. The question is, how much will a share be worth? Well, as a one-star miracle, that means you sold at least 10 NFTs over any period of time, and that gets you one share in the global bonus pool. And if the share is worth $1,000, it's a monthly basis. It's a residual, depending on how much the company contributes, and we don't know what that's going to be yet. We don't know. We're talking about some products, some money. It could be very substantial, but let's just use the $1,000 per share example here. How do you increase that? Well, if you develop 3, so every time you introduce an affiliate that you've referred and they come in, that person could spearhead a whole team. They could personally sell. They could also bring in other affiliates that sell. And when you develop 3 teams, meaning they have to be separate and apart from one another, it can't be you brought in Mary, who brought in Tommy, who brought in Sally, and all 3 of them became one-star miracles. They're all on one team. They count as one team. It has to be coming from you, that you referred somebody and that person spearheads a team. You have 3 teams that have at least one star in that team. That qualifies you as a 2-star, and now you get 5 shares in the pool. Develop 3 2-stars, and now you become a 3-star, and you get 10 shares in the pool. Develop 3 3-stars, and you become a 4-star, and now you get 25 shares in the pool. Develop 3 4-stars, and you become a 5-star, and you get 50 shares in the pool. So, guys, we just want you to know that this isn't programmed yet. This is just talking about what we are considering doing. It's not what we've done or guaranteeing just yet. It is just this again is just hypothetical, but we're in the process of developing it, and it will get programmed sometime in the near future. But it's an exceptional monthly reward for the people that go out there and build a community. And so, with that being said, we are complete on my end with just doing this presentation. We're going to stop the share. Where'd the share go? Here we go. All right. Did everybody get to see that? Was I sharing that?
No,
No,
there was no any screen share.
there you
Oh my
were.
goodness, why didn't you tell me that?
No, well, you were doing so well. We didn't want to disturb you.
Yeah.
Well, I could bring up the visuals.
Yes.
If any, so based on what we just shared, let's get some questions rolling, and then I'll pull up the visuals that might be attached to that. My apologies, guys. That's my error. I thought we were in screen share the whole time. I didn't initiate that. My fault.
It's okay. Anyone who has a question?
Okay.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yes. Dominic's iPhone, Jimmy, Machi, Marilyn, Nats,
Actually,
anyone, and Kashwana. Okay. Is there anyone who has a question? Please unmute yourself if you can.
What would be good, since we're gonna go over the questions, and sometimes people take a few minutes to process information. It might be good to have the visual, because that might trigger a question.
Okay, let's pull that up. So we just went through, what is it? Okay, I gotta reopen. Hang on. There it is. Okay, it's open now. Let's go back to share. Okay. So guys, I'll just, I'll fly through it and just tell me if you have a question about anything that's on the slide. Okay. So these are the disclaimers we just went through. This is a list of the different products that we have. This was the opening, and then we went into Miracle with installment. So this is a product that stores will have the ability to offer their customers, where they could pay something on installment. Like here in the United States, if you if you go to a cell phone store and you have the option to pay with installment, there'll be a monthly fee as opposed to paying for it upfront. If you go to PC Richards and you buy, large screen TV, maybe you have enough money to put down, but you don't have enough money to pay for the whole thing. The store could offer an installment plan that's based on the product that we have being paid for with cryptocurrency. And so then we went a hypothetical scenario of how much that could be paid out in marketing revenue. Then we talked about Miracle Home, and that too is a very unique product that we own exclusively, that will come to the marketplace in the United Kingdom. Remember, this is all about the United Kingdom. So for those of us who are here in the United States, you got to kind of separate your thought process, because we're talking about a product in a country that you have the ability to own a membership in, and the membership has the NFT that is tied to the revenue from the software and the products that Miracle Cash&More has. So the website with the buy, sell, trade, this is where we own our own cryptocurrency exchange. And whenever anybody gets engaged for the first time with crypto, they have to buy it somewhere, and they're buying from an exchange. Okay, we have a hand raised. Tashwana.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I was invited by Tima, my dear friend Tima, who's made sure that I had an opportunity in this great, amazing, life-changing opportunity. So I wanted to just ask, I'm learning, right? I'm trying to get everything processed and understanding. I wanted to know how, or when you say that the NFT will close out, what exactly that means in terms of numbers. Is there a certain number of NFTs you have to sell in order to close it out? And how far away is that
Okay, great.
from today?
So there's 1,488 memberships with the NFT, right? 1,488. We've already sold over 700 of them. So they go pretty rapidly. I mean, some days, 10 a purchase, 15 a purchase. We had one day just a few days ago, somebody purchased 200 individually. So how long that's going to last, we don't know. It could sell out in the next 30 days. It could take 60 days. Personally, I think based on the speed and rate that we're selling at, it's picking up speed. I think that the target is to have that balance sold out by the end of October here when we launch our company in Las Vegas. But it could go longer than that. There's no guarantee on time. It's just a matter of when people make a decision to purchase.
Thank you so much.
Once they are sold out, then whoever has a membership, that's their membership. Whoever has that NFT has that NFT. Whatever marketing revenue comes from that, that's theirs and theirs alone.
And I'm sorry, just one more question. And that's on the Miracle Home. Is it part of the NFT that you purchased in the UK, or is that a separate buying pattern?
Great question. So first, let me just say that I hear where you're coming from, because when Ray first told me about this stuff, I said, just on what he told me, I want to see it. So before I got on the plane and went to Cyprus, I was on every single one, twice a day, Monday through Thursday, and it took a good week. It even took till I went out there. So I fully immersed myself to really get a grasp, because we're not familiar with this. So, I appreciate that. Feel free, never feel overwhelmed, because there's a lot of information. So what was the question again about?
The Miracle Home.
Miracle Home, yeah. So Miracle Home is a real unique product. So think about the examples that we just gave today as what some people might call a vertical. It's a product. It's a delivery channel. So underneath the Miracle Home and More umbrella, you have stores, you have ATMs, you have merchant terminals, you have products that are utilized. The Miracle Install, the Miracle. We even have Miracle Deal and Miracle Pay. We have so many different products that we didn't even talk about here yet. But the ones that we did, they are products that are part. And every one of those products has a fee. It's a transaction fee. Like, for instance, the Miracle Home. What does it cost for the landlord to utilize Miracle Home? Well, Miracle Home is a scoring system. Just like here in the United States, we have credit bureaus, Equifax, and TransUnion, and Experian. So everybody can relate to this. I'll tell a quick story to help understand. My wife is the CFO. She pays all the bills. So we get our credit score, and you want good credit. Everybody, doesn't want to ruin your credit. So you got to pay your bills on time and all that kind of stuff. And my wife says, Ed, I don't know how this is possible. I pay all the bills and your credit score is better than mine. How is that possible? So I have a real good credit score. But we all know, especially when you're in your 20s or 30s and you're considering buying a home, that you want to keep good credit, because in order to borrow money at a good rate, you need to have good credit, yada, yada, yada. And if you make a mistake, it could ruin your credit. So the scoring system was created by our founder, Håkan Torhan, that measures a lot of data points that the traditional companies don't. And so what ended up occurring was, when that scoring system was utilized, the approval rate went from 36% of the people that applied for an installment, it went up to 42%. So that delta in between the 36 and the 42 created a lot more revenue. And so you have a company that one of the first companies to utilize it was what they call it was an appliance company, a white label company that increased their revenue by over $1 billion, became a multi-billion-dollar company. We're using that technology inside of both Miracle Install and Miracle Home. It's a scoring system. That's how the tenants can be figured out if they're good tenants. That's how the insurance. So on a Miracle Home, the cost for that is a half of the first month's rent. One time. That's it. Whatever that monthly rent is, so let's just round numbers, $5,000 rent. The cost for that product is $2,500. Now that could be paid for. The landlord's in control. The landlord could charge the tenant. He could personally use it. They can share it however they want. But that's the cost for that. And bang, the profit from that goes into our marketing revenue that we earn on.
Could
So
you
you have the transactions on the cryptocurrency trading, buying and selling. You have transactions on any trades that might be done. You have transaction fees. And so all these products have fees, some of which are transaction, and it is a transaction, it's a one-time transaction in the Miracle Home scenario. So yes, that's where we get our marketing revenue from.
Okay.
Good question. But
Thank
continue
you.
to ask the questions. I know, because sometimes I know for me, I have a limited attention span, then my mind goes away, then come back, like, oh, I should have asked that question. I should have asked that question. So feel free.
So here's the reason why I didn't interrupt you during the presentation, because sometimes we're talking about a new concept and you were telling the story, and every time you talk about a particular, like the phone, the computer, my mind goes to that experience. That's why I didn't interrupt you, because sometimes people will get confused or get distracted by the numbers and not connect with the story, because it's the story that drives home the reason why we need this ecosystem.
Yeah, there's a huge this is the amazing thing about it. Once you realize that this is the future, and this company, Miracle Cash, is the company that's bringing the technology and has developed the technology to bring the future in, man, it's exciting. I look at it as like, whether, and I'll just give the examples because we've all seen it. And I'll just tell stories again. I tend to be an entrepreneur. I look at stuff from a visionary standpoint. And so when I first started to read about Elon Musk and Tesla, they only had one car. It was the Roadster. And they talked about, hey, we're going to create a sedan, and hey, we're going to go public. And I'm reading this stuff, and I'm talking to my wife. I go, Deb, we got to invest in this company. I'm telling you, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. It's an electric car. Now, what happens with most people? Oh, electric cars, that's crazy. Yeah, sure, right, yeah, electric car, okay. When hell freezes over, we'll have an electric car. You hear all these skeptics, all these critics. And I'm looking at it going, no, this is going to happen. I know he made a Roadster. The thing goes 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. It performs great. It doesn't burn any fossil fuel. It's electricity. This is going to be the future, I'm telling you. And, when Tesla first came out, it was $22 a share. I'm not a good salesperson. I didn't sell my wife on investing in that. I wanted to, but it took a couple of years. She had to wait till she saw it go up to $300, $400 a share before she bought it. But this is being able to have a vision to see what was happening. Same thing happened with, way back when Bill Gates was the one who said there's going to be a computer in every home. Well, if you go back there, I'm old enough to go back. At the time, IBM was the big computer company, and IBM was just used for businesses. They had what they called an A-frame. And if you had a computer, it was the size of a room. It wasn't a little nothing you could hold in your hands. And Bill Gates had the vision that said, hey, one day there'll be a computer in every house. And people thought, oh, that's crazy. But if you heard about it back then and you thought the same way, and you had the ability to go into business on that, man, what a game changer. Same thing with Apple, same thing with Amazon. I love the Amazon story. Amazon, Jeff Bezos started Amazon. Great book. I recommend it to everybody. It's called The Everything Store. It's pretty much how Jeff Bezos got started. And back in the day, it was just a bookstore online. When he started it, it was an online bookstore. That was it. And they didn't make profit for years. But he had this vision of creating the everything store where you could sell everything possible. And that's Amazon today. Now, his parents wanted to invest in their son's vision. And so they offered to invest $100,000. And Bezos said, Mom and Dad, I don't want your money because 70% for sure we're going to fail. They said, no, we want to back you. Now they're mega billionaires because at one time, $100,000 investment. So you hear those stories about people who became millionaires and billionaires They were in the right place at the right time. They took action. And I just see this company as potentially one of I believe it's going to happen. I really do. I've never had as much confidence in a project in my life than I have with this. And for me, it's a spiritual alignment that delivers on our ability to go out there and really make a difference in the world. Really help a lot of people. When I saw that word miracle, I said, this is a blessing. Anybody, just think about this. If what we're talking about is true and this is going to happen, anybody who gets just one membership is going to be blessed immensely.
So perhaps, Ed, we can do a brief, like one phrase overview of the rest of the slides, so that way people can have a visual and then focus on the last part of it. Because since the project does not offer a reward until 9 months from now, people are like, well, what's in it for me? And why do I need to pay attention to it now? Because there's a great upside potential for sharing the opportunity with others.
Great. And that's a great point. Some people might have that thought, and I would challenge you to think about it a little bit differently in that I've never seen anything that has more of a FOMO, fear of missing out, than this, right? So yes, you can pass on this. Like some people might think, oh, when it comes to the United States, I'll get involved. That's all fine and dandy, but guess what? You won't have this opportunity. And the numbers won't be like this. Every time we sell out a country, it's going to get less and less and less. So you definitely want to recognize what you have before you. In addition to that, so let's just talk about the starting process. Today, September 30th, anybody looking at this right now, if you're a guest and you haven't become an affiliate yet, take a leap of faith. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. It's free to become an affiliate. You can have your own website. The reason why I say do it today is because we have a promotion called the September to Remember. And anybody who joins in September, they have 30 days. And if they sell 10 FTs in that 30 days, they get one for free. So prior to this promotion, I had friends of mine that I spoke to. They said, hey, Ed, I just don't have the money. I said, great, let's get you in anyway. It's free. Start plugging in. You can start making money. You don't have to spend money to make money. You could promote this, and every one NFT that you sell, you make $500. So I had a mantra was, sell 10, buy one. Sell 10, buy one. When you sell 10, you make total of $5,000. Now you have the money to buy one. But this is even better. September to Remember, sell 10 and you get one for free. Plus, in the process of selling the 10, you made $5,000. Plus, when we talk about whatever marketing revenue comes from it down the road, to me, this is a no-brainer. Just get in, plug into the calls, plug into the juice. This is a learning curve. There's a learning curve. You can't, day one, the first one you look at, you're not going to get it all. I didn't get it all. And so it takes time, but take a leap of faith. Doesn't cost you anything. Then if you get to the point where you have fear of missing out, well, I got to buy one of these things before you're gone. And we have people doing that now. They realized my sister was one of them. She ran to the bank. She said, I don't want to miss out. I want one of these things, So let's go through AVMs or ATMs. Everybody knows what an ATM is. Every time somebody transacts with an ATM, our ATMs are what we call two-way ATMs. That means you could use cash to buy crypto, and you could use your crypto to take out cash. Very simple. Then we have our electronic terminals. Everybody knows about this. You go to the supermarket and you pay with a credit card or a debit card. That's a terminal. You go to the shoe store, buy a pair of shoes, you pay for it. It's a terminal. You go online, it's a terminal. Everywhere that you use a credit card or a debit card, it's an electronic terminal. So we all know this. Everywhere we go, like I said earlier, I don't carry cash. I use my credit card, debit card everywhere I go. And so these are just examples of what this vertical will pay out. In my opinion, this is going to be the product that gets mass adoption all over the world. Millions of people will use this product. I believe this is going to be a product. Just think about that. Remove all this nonsense and say, hey, if there was a way you could get paid just a little bit on millions of transactions all over the world, would you at least want to know how? Well, you're looking at how, because that's going to happen. And so here we're talking about the UK. You can get paid on all the crypto transactions that run through this company called Miracle Cash&More, and you get a small little piece of it. Every time cha-ching, every time somebody goes to buy a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, a stick of butter, cha-ching, you get paid. Somebody buys a car, cha-ching, you get paid. Somebody buys a suit, cha-ching, you get paid. Somebody buys a dress, cha-ching, you get paid. Every time somebody goes to a restaurant, cha-ching, you get paid. They go to get their cup of coffee, cha-ching, you get paid. Every single transaction has a fee attached, and we share in that fee. When you get that, you will lose sleep. It is amazing what is before you. So what are we getting for the $5,000? We're getting the ability to earn money on websites, on the installment product, on the Miracle Home, on the terminals, on the AVMs, all of that. And so this way we just added up all the numbers, and the big one that might be confusing to people is the exit strategy. I love an exit strategy like this because I know what's going to happen. The first to market successfully bringing cryptos to the world is going to have an incredible valuation. And guess what? There are $1 trillion companies out there that are going to see what's going on here. They're going to want a piece of it. So in my process of learning about crypto back in 2016, 2017, 2018, as I'm talking to people that just aren't getting it, they don't understand it, and I'm trying to explain the legitimacy, and people tell me it's a scam. It's a scheme. I say, hey, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. I didn't get it for years. Now I got it. Let me share with you why I believe this is the future. And I want to validate that. So back then, I was talking about the institutions that were getting involved. I was talking about, companies that traditionally the banking industry wouldn't touch crypto, all of a sudden start building crypto platforms. I said, I'm telling you, success leaves clues. This was happening. So when somebody would tell something to me like, oh yeah, it's a scam, that's just a fraud. And I say, well, do you know who ICE is? Nobody does. The Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, look it up, the Intercontinental Exchange. They own stock exchanges. They own the top 12 top stock exchanges in the world. They own the New York Stock Exchange. Why would ICE create a cryptocurrency exchange called Backed if there wasn't a future here? Why would Warren Buffett put $1 billion into a bank that's bringing on crypto if there wasn't a future here? Why would any cryptocurrency exchange be putting all this money into television commercials? Why would FTX sponsor Major League Baseball and have every umpire in the field have that FTX logo on them? This is the future, guys. This is the future. And we're at the tip of the spear. We have the technology to bring it to the marketplace. And you and I are just very fortunate to be here at this time. Now, could this whole thing blow up and go away tomorrow? Of course it could. There's no guarantees here. Will we be alive tomorrow? There's no guarantee we'll be alive tomorrow. Anything can happen here. One of the things I love about the company is before they open up a country, they're getting fully licensed and regulated. They're meeting all the requirements from the governments, and the governments are writing the laws. So long as we stay within the right parameters and we're doing things the right way, it's the one company I know of in crypto that's actually making an effort to meet the proper laws of the countries and areas they're going into. So I think we got something real special there. That's really it. This here bonus, global bonus pool is just a way that you could share in more revenue that comes into the company. And that's it. All right, guys, I gotta get going here. I'll give it 5 more minutes. So if you have any more questions, please say so, ask away. Let's see in the chat. Okay, somebody stated in the chat, yes, California just approved regulations of crypto laws, Miracle Cash&More, Partners, Lloyd's of London, Prime Trust, Trulio, Fireblocks. So let's just talk about some of those names that are in there. Fireblocks is the company that
It's Tima.
Hi, Tina. So yeah, so all that stuff that you put in there is phenomenal, right?
Yes,
And,
exactly. And I wanted to share, if you may give me just 2 minutes.
Sure.
I am a licensed professional in the United States. I have my license in 5 different states, and Tashana as well is one of the agents. We work together, and it was a big deal. Lloyd of London is an entity that has been in existence for more than 300 years. This is an entity that gave the grading that economy, world economy has, or countries. If United States is said to be the first economy in the world, Lloyd of London is part of that system or entity, whatever you want to call it, that gave them that grade. So to have those kind of entity as a partner in Miracle Cash, that says it all. This company is here to stay. The world is changing. I know it well because I'm in the financial industry. When I'm getting my license and I'm taking my classes for AML, I know exactly what is QIC. I know what is how we can track, expenses. My license allowed. I'm very excited about California, and that will be the first state to regulate and allow the licensing to be allocated to everybody. That's $1.
Yeah.
So I was like, those are the things that I want somebody to have a vision and to just look at this, give it a second look. This is amazing. I was one of those 40 investors that went to Cyprus.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was one of them. So I walked into stores. I know it. I have family member that is in Amsterdam. I send them into a real store. This is a reality. It's happening. And then I'm very involved in it. I know you know that. I am prospecting for more than 9 months in the African continent. And then I have been having a lot of good interest. This company is going wide, so I just wanted to share that amazing news that I have. Just an item. So
Awesome.
thank you.
I always appreciate when I see you, and your contribution is amazing, and for you to be here, it's a statement of the legitimacy of what we're doing. So I know for a lot of people, when they first look at things, they look at it with a skeptical eye. And you and I did something that very few people do. We jumped on a plane and went half around the world to really see this.
Yes, absolutely.
People.
It cannot be more real than that. So I just wanted to share that.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, with respect to your time,
any
Ed,
last question?
no, I was going to say, with respect to your time, we appreciate it. Since you have to go, we don't want to take additional more of your time, so people can refer to whoever referred you to this opportunity to take it further.
Fantastic. And for those of you who do come on board with us, welcome on board. The best is yet to come.
Hey, sorry, can you put on the chat the Vegas registration? It might be good. Do you have the Vegas registration?
It's boogieunited.com. If somebody wants to put that in there, boogieunited.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're real serious about this, come out to Vegas. I will share this with you in my experience of the successes that we've had. The difference between really having huge success and maybe just puttering along is this. It doesn't matter when you get into Cashflow NFT. It doesn't matter when you start talking about or looking at Miracle Cash&More. It doesn't matter when you get in. What matters is when it gets in you, when it becomes part of your DNA. When you go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it. When you treat it like it's your company, when you look at it as you're the CEO of your own company, and that's the way I look at it, is we're all partners here. And we have this incredible vehicle, and we could work it together. We could develop a community that changes our families, changes our for generations to come potentially. I mean, it's just really amazing what we could do here. But the best way and the fastest way to fully immerse yourself is to meet the principals. Those who show up in Vegas will have a huge advantage over those who don't, because your belief level. So if you're watching my hands, whenever we get started in something, our fear, our doubts, our apprehensions are way up here, and our knowledge and our understanding is way down here. And as you plug in and your knowledge and your understanding starts to grow, your fears and apprehensions and doubts start to come down. So the faster you can go from your fears and apprehensions being way down here to your belief is so high, the fears and apprehensions basically disappear. Nothing will do more for your belief than meeting the people, than being in that room in Vegas. If I was you, I'd throw caution to the wind. I would change your plans. Hey, it's a Halloween weekend. My daughter just gave birth to a baby girl 2 months ago. My wife and I are going to miss Halloween with our kids. My wife didn't want to miss Halloween with her brand new granddaughter. But guess what? This is more important. Sometimes you got to do that stuff. Sometimes you have to make sacrifice. What I've found throughout the years is that successful people will sacrifice what normal people won't. So there was an old saying, today I will do what others won't. So tomorrow I can have what others don't. And it's just these little things, what makes somebody extraordinary. Look at the word extraordinary. It's 2 words. It's extra and ordinary. An extraordinary person is an ordinary person that just does the little extra. And in this company, that little extra is coming to Vegas, figuring out a way, getting there. Figure a way out to get there. I promise you, it'll make a world of a difference for you and your family, beyond a shadow of a doubt. What you're going to see there, what you're going to learn there, it's going to build your belief level more than anything possibly can. One weekend in Vegas can be worth over a year of effort. Just one weekend in Vegas, and all of a sudden, bang, one little thing clicks that makes all the difference in the world for you. So look forward to seeing you there. God bless everybody. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk real soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Ed, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Recording stopped.
When I want to talk to you, you have.
Oh, who wants to talk to me? Is it Tina?
What's going on?
That's me.
So we're not recording anymore. So anybody?
You wanna talk? Anybody who has a question? Ed is already left, but if you guys decide, please come to Vegas. And the registration link is on the chat box. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So you said come to Vegas?
Yes, I did say.
So what to do to go there?
Register and be part of Boogie community.
Yeah. First, register so you can get your own account, and then
Yes.
I've provided you with enough information so far to get an idea. Today's meeting was a little different, which I actually like because it gives you a little bit more substance at the same time connecting story to your typical presentation opportunity.
Right.
And then the chat, the information in the chat that you already just put in the chat is for you to learn the process that you have to go through to participate in the actual meeting, which I'm going to myself.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can get to meet the people behind it, because I mean this thing is going to be huge. That's why I'm like, I'm going to be all over this project, because the
Yeah.
upside potential is great.
All right, so no problem. So I'll get in touch with your friends.
Yes.
Don't miss out, Jimmy.
I want, because I like those activities. So I just want, since I'm new in that presentation. Last week I wasn't, but this today. So even I got here late, so I got some information, but even I'm not really, to involved in what's going on right now. So I think I'm gonna get in touch with friends and I get more information that I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, would be great.
All right. So
Yes.
all right, no problem. So I get in touch with friends and get registered to see
Yeah,
how it's gonna go.
you have a community that needs the education in itself, because the problem most people have is the adaptation to crypto. Even though the stores are not going to be in the US right away, the fact that you can take an opportunity, because in the UK, NFT is recognized as a property. And so you can take advantage of something that is emerging in the UK, even though you yourself are not there, but you're profiting from what's happening because crypto is more accepted over there, and NFT is legally recognized as property, which gives you, even though your absence there, still gives you profit while you're here and doing other things. That's the upside potential. So you don't have to necessarily be in the UK, but it would be beneficial for you to know that you can profit from the company growth, even though they're not in the US. That's the beauty.
Yeah, that's right.
And crypto is the future in terms of like the
I
adaptation.
I wanted to add something. On my way to Cyprus 3 months ago, when we went to meet with the company, I stopped by England. I spent 2 days there, and I just wanted to share. I used a card that was completely funded with crypto. So I lost my phone on my way. So I had nothing else but my online access. I was able to put money, and in Cyprus, and in Italy, and in UK, and on my way back.
Powerful.
So this is something that happened when it's a reality. It happened. So far I've invested in France. So I have my Spain, as Ed just shared it with everybody in this call. We sold out Spain in within like 10 days. It was all gone. I mean, it happened to us. We were like, did we just did this? And then it's an opportunity just happening. You just have to see the vision, and it's here. It's amazing that in the United States that we have not regulated crypto, but there is states that are stepping in and doing what they have to do. We have right now a mortgage company in Florida that is loaning up to $1 million in crypto. This is in Florida. It is a company that is registered. In within 9 months, they cover more than $10 million in a loan.
Wow.
All you have to do, you don't need a credit score, nothing. You just have to put down 3 Bitcoin. So this is things that is happening, and I am in the real estate as well. So we have the chance to grab those kind of big move that is happening that people don't see. But for an IRS state of Colorado that is accepting crypto as a payment method, that says it all. And in Florida, the state is paying its own employee half crypto if they want it. So when you want your salary, all you have to do is go to the HR, and they will tell you, do you want the city of Miami? So
Wow.
as yeah, I can go to my HR if I am an employee of the state of Florida, and then I can tell the state of Florida to pay me in fiat, in dollar, or in crypto. So it's happening, and if you don't follow the news, you're not going to be able to see it. But this is how it started with the transportation industry that was completely changed because of who? Uber, right? And it happened with the Airbnb that completely changed the industry of the hotelry, because right now, Airbnb is the way to go. Even hotels are doing Airbnb because I've used it. So this is changing. It's happening. The banking system. Again, I'm in the financial industry. I'm seeing it when I'm taking my license. I just renewed it in the month of September. I see how they add it. I'm taking like 24 hours to renew my licenses in every state that I am doing business. They're adding, and I can tell that why they're doing that. But because the rule is the law and regulation are taking place.
So what do
So
you have?
that's
What do you have? The Series 6, 7, or 63?
I am not a security. I am just a life insurance and then financial professional, helping people with their insurance, elderly people that I'm working
Okay.
with their 401k and stuff like that. But I'm not a 63. I don't want to take that because it's very it's too much going on with that.
Yeah.
I'm not a 63.
Okay.
But maybe in the food, yeah. So it's really educational. I think that's what we need, and it's happening little by little. And Miracle Cash actually is what made me really passionate about this project. It's gonna offer the Main Street person that educational part that they need for crypto. We have every store that we have a part that is a center, educational center. So in Amsterdam right now, if you dare you walk into one of our store, they will, you can go there and sit down and